Hey there, fellow gamers and low-end warriors. Welcome back to my channel, where we put AAA games to the ultimate test on a potato PC that could probably power a toaster, but not much else. Today, we're diving into Gundam Breaker 4 on my trusty old Intel i3 without a graphics card. Spoiler alert, it's like trying to fit a Gundam into an auto rickshaw. But hey, that's what we're here for. So, let's see if we can break this Gundam, or if the game breaks us first. I've set the game resolution to 720p and cranked every graphics setting down to low. And what do we get? A nice, juicy FPS range of 25 to 40. That's right, we're living in the it's barely playable, but at least it's not a PowerPoint presentation zone. The graphics? Well, let's just say they're giving off some serious Power Rangers vibes. Minus the bright, happy faces and with a lot more robot clanking. But hey, you're not playing Gundam Breaker 4 on a low-end PC for the visuals. You're here for that sweet, sweet Gundam action. Now, performance-wise, the game runs great for the most part. Controls are responsive, the FPS doesn't dip too hard unless you start swinging a beam saber around like a maniac, which I totally did. Sometimes, the game takes a breather to load in the middle of a fight. It's like your Gundam decides to stop mid-battle to think about its life choices. But that's a small sacrifice we have to make for playing this on a potato PC. As long as your expectations are set to can we make this work somehow, rather than I need 120 FPS ultra settings, you'll be fine. Alright, buckle up folks, because it's time to dissect the heart of Gundam Breaker 4, its gameplay. And trust me, this one is a real mixed bag of bolts and circuits. First off, let's talk about the combat mechanics, which are arguably the soul of the game. Compared to its predecessor, New Gundam Breaker 4 feels like a step in the right direction. If you're like me, still recovering from the disaster that was New Gundam Breaker, where everything from controls to story felt like a giant facepalm, you'll be pleasantly surprised with what this game has to offer. The combat here is solid. Crisp hits, flashy attacks, and an overall sense of impact that makes you feel like you're piloting a 20-ton mobile suit. But, and there's always a but, compared to Gundam Breaker 3, it feels like we've taken 3 steps forward and 3 steps back. So, let's break it down. What's good and what still needs some serious TLC. First, the good stuff. The game introduces a part scaling system, which is an absolute game changer. No more awkward proportions or running around looking like a Gundam knockoff from a budget toy store. You can finally tweak those visual customizations to make your Gundam look like the unstoppable force of your dreams or nightmares. That's right, you can get your hands dirty with fine-tuning, scaling down those oversized shields or bulking up those puny arms. Trust me, this is a godsend for all you hardcore Gundam fans who want your mobile suits to look just right. And customization isn't just skin deep here. The addition of dual-wielding weapons? Oh yes. If you've ever dreamed of mixing and matching a beam saber in one hand and a Gatling gun in the other, now's your chance. This adds a whole new layer of strategy to the gameplay. Do you go for speed and agility with 2 lightsabers? Or do you prefer the heavy-hitting power of dual bazookas? The choice is yours. Not to mention, the parts collection and weapon variety are vast. Almost like an open buffet for mech enthusiasts. Now on to the boss battles. One of the highlights of Gundam Breaker 4 is its boss fights, which feel more dynamic and varied than before. Gone are the days when bosses were just massive health sponges. Now, they're unpredictable and, dare I say, even cinematic at times. You have to think on your feet, adapting your strategies and switching up your tactics on the fly. But here's the kicker. It feels like these bosses are trying to compensate for something, perhaps for some of the lackluster AI and story elements we're about to dive into. Moving on to the story presentation, or should I say, the lack of it. It's like the developers put all their effort into making these awesome Gundam models and then completely forgot they needed to write a compelling story to go along with it. The cutscenes? They're stiffer than my morning cup of coffee, and not in a good way. Remember those days of epic, dynamic cutscenes synced to adrenaline-pumping music that made you feel like you were part of an actual Gundam episode? Yeah, not here. Instead, you're left with static dialogues and character models that move as if they're still in beta testing. And speaking of music, what happened there? Not a single iconic theme from the shows makes an appearance, not even during epic moments or boss battles. The music feels like background noise at best, and a repetitive loop at worst. You know it's bad when the highlight of the soundtrack is the end credits. I mean, come on. Game devs, you had one job. Where's the intensity? Where's the drama? It's like they tried to save money by hiring someone who just downloaded some royalty-free tracks and called it a day. If you're thinking about lowering the volume to save your sanity, I'm with you. The lack of iconic Gundam music really feels like a missed opportunity, especially since music has always been such a critical part of the Gundam experience. You'd expect the battle themes to get your blood pumping, but instead, you're left feeling like you're at a silent disco with no headphones. Now let's talk about the graphics. Yes, I know we're on a low-end PC, but I've played games on this potato that look better than this. The textures are serviceable, nothing to write home about. The environments, on the other hand, are bland and uninspired. They lack that distinctive flair that makes each battlefield feel unique. Instead, it's a lot of gray, a lot of brown, and a whole lot of meh. You won't be stopping to admire the scenery, that's for sure. On a low-end PC, the game looks passable, but don't expect to be wowed. I've dialed everything down to potato mode, and while it's playable, there's a noticeable lack of polish in the textures and shadows. The Gundams themselves look decent, but the environments? They're as bland as a boiled potato. And sometimes, the game decides to surprise you with random texture pop-ins, just to keep you on your toes. So, if you're looking for eye candy, you might want to look elsewhere, or get yourself a beefier rig. Frame rate-wise, it hangs around the 25 to 40 FPS mark on a low-end PC, which, believe it or not, is actually decent for this kind of game. However, during intense battles, especially when a lot is happening on screen, you're bound to experience some slowdowns. It's not a deal breaker, but it can be annoying, especially when precision timing is needed to dodge an enemy attack. If you're used to playing at 60 FPS, be prepared for some tears, both on your screen and in your eyes. So, where does that leave us? Gundam Breaker 4 on a low-end PC is a ride. A bumpy one, but a ride nonetheless. If you've got an integrated graphics card, an undying love for Gundam, and a willingness to forgive some awkward moments, you'll have fun. Sure, it's not as polished as Gundam Breaker 3 in terms of style and flair, but the core gameplay still hits that sweet spot. You'll laugh, you'll cry, probably because your game froze mid-battle, but you'll be entertained. To sum it up, Gundam Breaker 4 on a low-end PC is like an underdog story. It's rough around the edges, real rough, but for all its faults, there's a certain charm to it. You're not playing this game for the story or the graphics. You're here for the thrill of customizing your Gundam, going into battle, and creating chaos. If you're a die-hard fan who doesn't mind some clunky AI, a forgettable story, and subpar music, you might just enjoy this roller coaster ride. That's it for today's review. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button like a Gundam smashing through a wave of enemies. And don't forget to subscribe for more game reviews, especially if you're in the low-end PC club like me. Got a game you want me to test on this potato? Drop it in the comments. Until next time, keep gaming, keep fighting, and may your FPS stay ever in your favor. Low Spec Laptop Gamer out. Enjoy the rest of the gameplay.
competition if you've got enough guts and grit.
Well, her skills are solid.